Filming from Gen Con 2014, I'm here with Jim Feli, who is the designer of a brand new game. It was just released here at Gen Con. The game is called Shadows of Malice, and it is a cooperative game of epic fantasy. And Jim has agreed to tell us a little bit about his game because he's actually the designer of the game. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. So, Shadows of Malice is a cooperative game for up to 8 players. Players work together to try to accomplish the goal of finding and revealing the remaining light wells in order to keep the demon Zulthul from entering the world and trying to take it over again. Depending on the number of tiles you decide to include in your game, you can have a shorter game or a longer game. If there are 3 tiles in the game, for example, you know there will be 3 wells of light and 6 wells of darkness, but you won't know where they are. So you'll have to buff up enough in order to take out the well guardian, and then when you defeat it, you reveal the well. If you find all 3 light wells, you win the game by preventing the demon from coming in. But meanwhile, shadows are spawning and growing in strength in the shadow realm. If they randomly move about and land on a gate, they'll come into the world and try to take out a well themselves. If they find any one light well, they destroy it, use its power to summon forth the demon. There are no longer enough light wells for you to win the game, and so now you have to destroy the demon before it can accomplish its task of finding and snuffing out the remaining light wells. 2 paths to victory. Unlike many games, there's no standard monsters. There's no orcs, no standard monsters. There's no orcs, no goblins, no dragons. Creatures are mutated by the evil of the Shadow Lord. So when you encounter one, you find out where you encountered it, roll a die to find out what the type of the creature is. Was it a reptile before it mutated or a mammal? Roll up its power. If it's in a lair, it's a little more powerful. And then roll to see whether it has any abilities. That's what's going to give it things like vampirism or savagery or make it brawny. So each creature's different. The other night I was playing a game and they rolled up an undead mushroom.
That sounds scary enough.
These little symbols are color symbols you see constantly throughout the game. So the green symbol on the potion is the same as on the card. Those are for colorblind players so that they can easily spot what the cards are if they can't see the color well. Also,
played it last night. It took a while, but it was a lot of fun. Thanks for going through it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You're right. It just develops as you go along. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
We just had a satisfied player and customer stopping by and telling the designer how awesome the game is. That definitely makes it promise then.
It makes me very happy. Unlike other games, there's no player elimination. Because your avatars of light that have taken mortal form, if your body's destroyed, you just sit out a turn while you regenerate a new one. Now the mastery ability that every avatar gets has 2 parts to it. It's got a part that's always available to the avatar and a part that's activated by a shard of a different color that you can throw an ability on one of your band members. So you can always buff people up with these shards. If you die, you lose your mastery, you come and light refracts through you a different way and you get a new mastery. Some people have found death to be tragic because they love their mastery. Other people have said, I'm better off now than I was before, thank God I died. There's also no player downtime. Even though you can split up and work in bands and form and reform bands as you choose, even if you're not going and another band is moving, you can use the shards to influence the die roll of any player in the game. If you're in the band, it's an automatic +1 per shard. If you're not in the band, there's a chance it doesn't work, so it's a risk management problem. But still, since you're vested in all working together, every turn, no matter who's going, you can influence the outcome of the turn. There are 5 types of treasure in the game. There's jewelry, clothing, shields and armor, weaponry, and books and scrolls. As a player, as an avatar, you may have only one of each type. So if you have a weapon and you draw a weapon, then that means you've got to give one up and pick one you want. But if you're in a band, you can distribute the treasure amongst your band members. Maybe someone doesn't have a weapon. There are also fate cards. When you roll your movement, you also roll a fate die. Fate die does nothing unless you happen to roll doubles. Then you must draw a fate card. Fate cards are half bad, half good. Some are instantaneous. They happen and go back to the trove. Some are lasting and are a curse that you carry until you get a new fate card. As soon as you roll doubles again, fate card goes away and a new one comes in its place. I'll tell you a funny story. I was playing a game, one of my band members had this fate card, Grim Reaping. It's a beneficial one because it's blue. It's invoked, so he can use it when he chooses and it lasts a turn. It gives him +1 to 6 on his roll to hit, +1 to 6 on the wounds he delivers. He was a killing machine. We were ready to go into Stronghold. We rolled our movement. He rolled doubles. Lost it instantly going in against the monster, and he drew this one instead. Curse of Frailty. Every wound coming in against him was increased by 1. I've never heard a grown man scream so loud. There are also potions. You notice potions are mini cards. A lot of people don't like mini cards. There's a reason that they're mini cards. You can only have 1 treasure item of each kind. You can have 2 potions.
Would you like to buy one?
As long as they're different colors. You can't carry the same colored potion. Treasure is available through layers, which are little paw marks on the game. Potions are only available in the treasure stores of the Guardians, or you can have mystics brew them for you. There are 3 different flavors of mystic, which are hidden, turned over, randomized, and placed on the map, so you don't know where they are or what they do when you start the game. Cities, there are 6 different abilities that cities will have to help you. In a game of 3 maps, there's only 3 cities. You don't know which ones are in the game. So the game will be different every time, and your strategy might change depending on whether you know you can trade items, or get curses broken, or make potions in the city.
Just about.
In addition, every lair begins play with a token on it. That's a stocked lair token. You're guaranteed to have a treasure item there. Once you defeat the creature, you remove the stock token. It's still a lair. There's still something in there that really wants to hurt you. But you only get a treasure item if you make a luck roll. So maybe you've got a treasure item already that gives you bonuses to luck rolls. Maybe you don't. What you're doing is trying to go through, find the wells of light before the shadows do, as I said. Each turn the players get their turn to do actions, and at the end of their turn they all get their recovery for healing wounds and such. Then the shadows get their turn. Some of these gates are sealed. At the beginning of the game, there is a seal on every gate. Shadow cannot use that gate, it's not active. At the beginning of the Shadow's turn, if there are sealed gates, remove a random seal. If there's no shadow in the Shadow realm, you spawn one. If there's a shadow in Athos, the world, it gets its turn. The shadows spawn with a strength and life token total that varies with the number of players. Fewer players, they're weaker. Same with the demon. When it comes in, fewer players, weaker demon. When a shadow gets out into the world, it tries to take over a fortress. If a shadow comes in with, say, 3 life, and it hits a fortress, it's got to roll a 3 or lower to take the fortress. If it succeeds, you get what happens. It may bring in the demon, it may be a dark well, and it moves on. If it fails, it loses a life and tries again, so they can suicide out. Depends on whether the players want to risk it and say, I don't know, it's a little high. When you fight the shadow, do you kill it, or do you just take it down to 1 or 2, hoping it'll suicide out? Players have life tokens that say how much damage or drain their bodies can take. Wounds come as either a wound or a drain. And the way you know that is when you flip it over. If it's facing you to read wound, it's a wound. You turn it to face you to say drain, and it's a drain. Wounds heal at your normal healing rate. If you have a healing rate of 3, you can recover 3 wounds in your healing phase. If you have a healing rate of 3, you can only heal possibly 3 drains. The big mechanic in this game in dice that's different from many games is, if you're familiar with the term 2d4, roll 2 4-sided dice, 3d8, roll 3 8-sided dice. This uses what's called a D-star, which is a die which is either a 0 or a 1. So you might say, here's my D-star, low is a 0, high is a 1, I rolled a 1. I rolled a 0. 3D star would be the same thing. I rolled a high, high, low, so I rolled a 2. You heal drains at a D-star rate, so you have to roll to see if they come back. They're very hard to come back. So perhaps you're hoping that one of the mystics in the game is the Restorer that instantly heals all drains. A thing about the shadows is they provide no benefit to you when you kill them. No treasure, no soul shards, nothing. And all their wounds are drains. So they're very tough. So most players try to arrange it so they never come out. And there are potions that can help you seal shadow gates. There are treasure items that can help you destroy shadows. And there are different tactics for when they come out and when they're staying in the shadow realm. Very quick thing about combat. Combat system is based on 2 dice, one for the monster and one for the player. If it's I'm alone and I'm a band of 1, I'd roll. It's a push. No one takes any damage that phase. If I outroll the monster, no matter by how much it is, the monster takes 1 wound. If it outrolls me, that didn't work. Push. If it outrolls me, I take 1 wound. So obviously modified by how tough it is and what abilities it has and what treasure I have, that can change things around. But if I'm in a band, let's say there are 2 party members with me, so a band of 3, I get 1 die for every party member. 1 die for the monster. And I get the maximum of what we roll against what it rolls. So it's a lot better combat. You can use the soul shards to invoke on behalf of yourself, to give yourself a +1 to hit, or your friends can do it for you, either in your band or outside of your band, to modify your die rolls. Movement is a movement point system. It costs a number of movement points to move from hex to hex, less if you're on a path or on a road. So you roll a 6-sided die and add 2 to it. So if I did this, my movement points would be 5. If I did this, my movement points would be 7. The reason that you add 2 is so the minimum movement points you can get is 3, which is sufficient to move 1 hex anywhere. So you're never stuck, unless maybe you're cursed. When you roll your movement roll, you roll another die for fate. So my movement is 4. Only if you roll doubles must you draw the fate card. Isn't that great how I planned that to work out that way? So some people are going, give me doubles, and some people are going, no. So it's very interesting to watch it happen. That's the general gist of the game. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Well, thank you, Jim, for telling us about your new game, Shadows of Malice, being released at Gen Con 2014.
Thank you
again.
The pleasure was mine. Have a great day.